Here's a list of outdated Instagram tips you don't need to waste your time on anymore. You need to stop making these mistakes and get your Instagram growing going forwards so you can build your releases and get more DJ gigs as we head firmly into this year. You need to stop making all these mistakes. It's 2024 and these basic mistakes haven't been relevant since 2019 or 2020. These include, first up, follow for follow. This is where you follow people and expect them to follow you back, and if they don't follow you, you unfollow them. And essentially you build a following of people that follow you but aren't that interested in what you're doing, which means they don't engage with what you're doing, they don't comment, they don't like, they don't share what you're doing, and basically you have a big number but not much engagement and not much reach. And this doesn't help your page overall grow, and it doesn't help you get more streams or gigs. And the same goes for buying followers, buying likes, and buying comments. So please, 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 please don't do this. It massively hurts the reach of your account when you have fake followers and fake engagement. For those that don't know, when you post on Instagram, Instagram will show your post to a percentage of your followers. Now, if that percentage is all fake, which means that you're going to get no engagement and no reach on a post, because that post has not had good signals, i.e. likes, shares, comments, engagements, video views, Instagram then thinks it's not very good and it pushes it down and you don't get any more reach on the post. And as for buying likes and comments, if you're doing this to inflate your numbers, inflate your reach, what's going to happen when you get booked for the show because of those numbers and no one turns up to watch you? That promoter's going to know. They're going to see that and they're not going to book you again. Really not continuous bookings, and again, not growing as an artist. Another basic one, engagement groups. Again, these have been relevant for a long time, and these are basically where you all join the same group and agree to comment on each other's post each time you post. This then becomes super stressful as you have to comment on each post and find something different to say on each post. And also, if you're not that into that post, you've still got to comment on it. It looks super baity, and essentially you're using all your energy every day to comment on the same 25 posts, which again, you're not growing on the platform, you're not reaching out to new people and not engaging with new people, therefore not building further connections with new people and then bringing them into your world. Then finally, when you stop being part of the engagement because you're knackered, your engagement then plummets and Instagram then thinks your account is not valuable and your content's not valuable, so then again it stops to push it as well. Next up, tagging random people on posts that are nothing to do with your post. This used to be a strategy where you tag bigger pages to get them interested in your post and hope that they would share it. Nowadays, this doesn't work. Only tag the people that are relevant to you in the post and the stuff that's going on in the post. So for instance, if I took a photo or a video of me now, I would tag this Shure mic and Shure and data transmission, and that's it. Keep it super simple. If you're tagging people that are not into what you're doing, it just becomes annoying and you're likely to just annoy people. That's not good look. The next big one, using full stops, or for my US friends, periods between each paragraph. Again, this used to be a thing and you don't need to do this anymore. Way back, you had to actually put a full stop or a period between each paragraph to make them have those line breaks. Instagram fixed this ages ago, probably back in 2018, and you can now just put paragraphs and line breaks in and space out your paragraphs evenly to make it easier to read, and you don't need to put those little dots in between. Also, big chunks of text, please space these out. Make it easy on the eye. The more times people spend reading that block of text, because it's easy to read and don't give up halfway because they can't be bothered, that means they spend longer on your post and then you get more reach on that post, or if it's a Instagram reel, more video views. For those of you who have posted recently and you put a big block of text and you want to go and edit it and don't think you can totally edit your captions. This again used to be a thing. You can't edit your captions because it's going to affect the reach. This doesn't apply anymore. You can go and edit your captions and make them better. And actually, when you're editing reels, if you go and delete a reel because you think you made a mistake, it actually puts it back into drafts now, so you can edit it and then repost it without losing that reel. Super cool. The next big thing, posting every day. You don't need to post every day. You're better off putting less content up that's actually better quality now. The content you need to be posting is carousels and Instagram reels, and a good mix of them. With carousels, you need to have a good mix of photos and videos and tell the story through the carousels. And then you want a combination of carousels and reels across your strategy. You also need to stop posting every day just because you think you need to post to feed the algorithm. 3 posts a week is actually completely fine. Just make them better and make them better quality. And if even that sounds like too much for you, 1 post a week is completely fine. Just make it a better quality post and spend a bit more time making it. Instagram is prioritizing watch time, SEO, average view time, share to stories, messaging, and DMs. And if your Instagram reel views are down, then there's something you can do about it. And if you didn't see this video, go and check it out next, and I'll link to that below so you can go and watch it after, and it will tell you how to get your Instagram reel views up. Let's chat hashtags. When it comes to hashtags, you don't need to find 30 hashtags per post anymore. You don't need to spend ages researching them, and you don't need to mix them up every post. You just need to find the ones that are relative to that post, or something that people are going to be searching to find that post. As I mentioned, Instagram is prioritizing search engine optimization and the search features. Also, when we're talking about putting hashtags in the first comment, again, it used to be a thing. Now you just want to put them in the caption, line space down, and put them in there because they then become searchable in your searchable text field, which is your caption. You're better using 3 to 10 hashtags and even use the same hashtags across multiple posts as long as they're relevant for that post. Mix them up if they're not. I.e., they're either the same music, you can still use tech house, for instance, tech house music, for instance. Recently, CEO of Instagram, Adam Aziri, he was asked on his stories, do hashtags help views? He answers saying, generally, no, they don't help distribution, but they help categorize your post better so it can be found. So spend more time on that caption space, what you're actually writing, the words you're putting in that space. Think about what words people might search to find this video, to find this Instagram reel, to find this carousel, including here the musical genres and subgenres that people might search to find that carousel or video. Also, the words you put on screen. And if you're talking heads to video, think about what you're saying and even maybe write a little script about what you're saying. So again, you get the keywords into what you're saying. And if you've not seen my video where I look at what Sammy Porter does to go viral, check out him because he absolutely nails it when it comes to words on screen to promote his videos and get the most reach out of his Instagram reels. Let's talk about highlight story posts. For those that don't know, highlights or highlight story posts appear above your feed and below your bio. This is where you can put a collection of highlights from your stories into one highlight, basically. And for me, a lot of people, they put gigs they went to or something were highlights of their life. And for me, the highlights section, these are great sales pushings. When they watch a killer bit of content and they go and check out your profile, where do you want them to go next? And this is your highlight space. So let's chat highlights. You can have 4.5 highlights on that space on a normal 5 phone, not one of those iPhone Pro Maxes that are absolutely massive, a usual size iPhone. So essentially you've got 4 killer ones that people can read and maybe a half one if you want to. I've actually recently had mine at 5 and I reduced it down to 4 because it makes it much easier and much less decisions for the person that's going to view it. They're either going one of 4 places. So be specific about those 4 highlight spaces. On my Instagram reviews recently, I had one that was scrolling back for 20 or 30. No one's watching those. Think about the 4 you're going to put in there. Is it about you? Is it about your podcast? Is it about your releases? Is it about gigs? Is it about how to book you? Make some specific highlights and specific stories and then store them in theirs. And if you haven't seen what I do, go and check mine out as a guide at Grahame Farmer. When we're talking highlights, the same goes for pinning posts. And these are the top 3 posts you can pin on Instagram. We saw in my Claptone breakdown recently how he uses 3 to promote his releases and switches them up depending on what he needs them for. And this is such a clever strategy. He'll pin 3 for each release using a different surface of the platform to promote his new releases. Now, when it comes to Instagram advice pages on YouTube, for instance, a lot of people will say, don't pin your biggest post. Now, when it comes to DJs, your biggest post might be you playing a massive gig and you've got loads of video views on it. You should definitely pin this one and pin your most viral video view if it's you playing and you performing, because essentially that's your sales. You want people to see that because it's essentially going to bring you more gigs. So it doesn't naturally apply when it comes to DJs. The other things you could pin up there is a start, like I do, and this could be your story. It could be where you come from. Maybe you were working on the tills 12 months ago and now you're playing the biggest gigs in the world. Pin your story to there so when people land on your page, they can understand you and understand what you've got going on and where you come from, and then they can start viewing your content and learn more about you straight away. Okay, let's have a little chat about stories. Now, sharing poster stories. A lot of people do this and there's nothing wrong with it, but I do find as a person viewing the story, it's a little boring. Think about stories of who's viewing that story. And if you're just sharing that post to stories, people will swipe on now, which means you lose reach and you lose people on your stories. If you are sharing a poster story, the best thing to do is add some extra text to that story, especially if it's a carousel post. Why don't you write some of the text on the actual story so that people then have to push on it and hold and read what the text is, and then they can click through. Also, when you're sharing a poster story, don't put a new post or hide it behind a sticker. Just make them click it. It's easy. If you're sharing reels to stories, this can still work. And again, put some text so that people read the text, and while that reel's going around, it's actually getting more views. And then when we're talking stories, the best thing to show on stories is all of your other stuff that you've got going on. Maybe you like going to the football. Maybe you like going for a run. Maybe you're exercising. Maybe you like making food. Maybe you like cooking. Maybe you like baking. All of this stuff can go in your stories. And this is what they talk about when they mean behind the scenes stuff. It's just your everyday life. And this is where you share it because it's gone in 24 hours. It's just relevant to people that are into you and know you. And that's what your stories are about. And then that keeps your feed and your reels focused on your goals for DJ content. Link in bio for me is another big outdated thing. How many of you are posting saying, go to my link in bio, do this in my link in bio? And how many of you are actually monitoring how many clicks you're getting on your link in bio? And yes, they still can work, but they don't don't work as well as other strategies. And we've discussed this on this channel a fair bit. Getting someone to comment for something and then you reply to them and then you DM them the link works really well. And because it stimulates engagement on the post, you stimulates the DMs in the conversation, which then means that your content gets shown to them further on. Instagram likes it, you're being social on the network, but also you can then automate this process. I use a bot called ManyChat.com, and it's a really good one. It's probably the most used one. It's verified by Instagram and is okay by Instagram, and it essentially automates that process for you. So when someone replies with a keyword, you'll get then a message in your DMs, and essentially all that process is done for you. You're probably watching this video because you saw something on my Instagram, commented a word, then the bot sent you a link in the chat. That is just the small part of what this bot can do. It can actually do tons of stuff, and it can even help you grow your following as well. The biggest thing still for not growing on Instagram and not doing is posting and ghosting. And if you're doing this, then this is the biggest thing you need to stop this year. Just posting a post and thinking, I don't really want to be on social media, I'll just post and leave. This is why you're not growing. Posting and ghosting and not being part of the conversation, not being social on the network is stopping you growing and going forward. If you're not being active in other people's comments and sharing and commenting on other people's posts, you're not potentially finding the audience. If you're not DMing people, then you're not having conversations. And Instagram then is going to put your account in a low creative position, and essentially you're not going to grow. But by being active, you're then giving the Instagram algorithms more data points to who you're conversing with, who are your other peers, who they work with, and they can pick up all those data points and they can start knowing who to show your content to. Have you checked out my brand new free training to help you plan your content for the next 30 days? No? I'll link to it in the comments below and I'll post it in the description as well. It's a full free training that's going to help you understand how to plan a content strategy for 30 days for your releases, your gigs, and everything else you've got going on. It's also going to help you understand the algorithm a bit, and it's going to really push your Instagram and help you grow your Instagram this year. Now you know not what to do on Instagram, you should watch this video next. If you want to grow on Instagram this year, it's going to give you 4 actionable steps to help you grow on Instagram and make better content this year. Also, it's going to help you get more followers. Before we jump over to here and click into this one, if you can like this video and comment on it and let me know what you thought of this video, and if you're doing any of these out-of-date tips, let me know in the comments, and subscribe to the channel, because if you're not subscribed, you're going to be missing 2 new videos a week and 2 demo feedback sessions every week. Let's jump over here and I'll see you over in this video. I'll see you in the next one. I've been Grahame Farmer. Bye-bye.